again, ladies and gentlemen, Chaos Wolf here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, since the announcement of Elite Dangerous Horizons, anything to do with the CQC update to 1.4 has pretty much taken a backseat to planetary landings and anything along those lines. But I think that's doing a little bit of a disservice, so let us actually have a look at some more stuff to do with 1.4 and CQC. Now, what I want to have a look at right now is the ships that will be released with 1.4. And the first of those, and one of the more interesting ones, is actually the F63 Condor. Now this ship is, I think, at least initially going to be used exclusively for the CQC side of the game. I do believe it's not going to actually be usable in the open world universe, at least at the beginning. Now what this ship is it's a very small, dedicated attack craft. So it's pretty much just like a single-seat little fighter, something akin to an X-Wing from the Star Wars universe. I really like the look of this ship, and I've wanted it to be introduced into the game for a very long time. I am somewhat disappointed that we probably won't be seeing it in the open universe, at least to begin with, because I've really wanted to fly this around. I've loved the idea of seeing a swarm of these coming out, or at least so many of them, like a dozen or so, flying out from the docking hatches on a Anaconda. I think that would be absolutely awesome sight to behold. But sadly that's not going to be happening, at least for now. But yeah, it's a very nice little craft. It's very fast, very agile, very manoeuvrable, and I'm just looking forward to getting my hands on it and testing it out. Now, the next one I want to talk about is the Imperial Eagle. Now, this is going to be the third Imperial ship that's going to be introduced into the game. The first one being the Clipper, and then the Courier in the last couple of updates. And this is pretty much just an Imperial spin on the already existing Eagle. What's happening is at the end of the wings they are adding engine cells, and they're actually replacing the small hardpoint on top of the ship with a medium hardpoint. So this ship is actually going to be an upgrade over the original existing Eagle. It's also having an Imperial cosmetic overhaul. So it's going to be white as standard, and it's also having the typical blue neons from the from most Imperial ships, if not all the Imperial ships. It looks like a very interesting ship. I'm curious as to see whether it's going to be a little bit bigger. And I'm wondering what the maneuverability stats are going to be on it, because the existing Eagle is the only ship in the game with perfect 10 out of 10 maneuverability. So I am really looking forward to seeing how this compares between this and the actual Eagle itself. It looks very nice. It has, like I said, it has a very different look to it. It's got some angular armor plating on the front, which I do believe is missing from the existing Eagle. And it's also got what looks to be a almost like an aerodynamic fin at the back of the ship, which I'm really curious about. And I'm also curious to see how they're actually changing the cockpits, because we all know that Imperial ships have very interesting cockpits. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing what this ship looks like. And now we come on to the 1.5 Federal ships that we're going to be getting in 1.4. We are going to be getting the Federal Dropship Mark II and the Federal Gunship, or the Federal Attack Ship. Not sure which one they're actually going to go for. I've seen it referred to as both. Now this is a very interesting ship, especially for the future rebalancing of the game. Because this ship has actually got, or these ships, at least one of them, has what looks to be 7 hardpoints. And it does look as though it has at least 4 medium hardpoints, I think. They could very easily be small hardpoints, but they look to me to be medium. It also has 1 undermounted large hardpoint. And we can't quite tell what size the hardpoints are on top, but I would gather they'd either be small or medium. But this is going to be very interesting for the balance of the game, because there are very few ships that have more than 5 hardpoints. The original Federal Dropship has 5 hardpoints, 4 medium and 1 large. The Fer-de-Lance has 4 medium, 1 huge. The Anaconda has, I think, 8 hardpoints, if I remember correctly. 1 huge, 3 large, 2 medium and 2 small, if I remember rightly. So this is almost rivaling the firepower of an Anaconda. Obviously it's not quite anywhere near the size of an Anaconda's firepower, but it is getting there. I'm really curious to seeing how they actually balance this in gameplay terms. With all this firepower, is this going to be yet another Federal ship with, on paper, extremely poor maneuverability? Is it going to be extremely tanky, as it does seem to be the vast majority of, well, not the vast majority, 100% of all Federal ships currently in the game? Because we only have the one, we only have the Federal Dropship at the moment, which is, on paper, 0 out of 10 maneuverability. So I'm really curious to see how they go with this. I'd like to see some ships that actually have some decent maneuverability that are Federal designed. Now, the current Federal Dropship, it's, like I said, it has 0 out of 10 maneuverability, at least on paper, but after you work out how to use the ship, you can throw it around quite easily. And I'm curious as to whether or not these ships are going to be something similar. But I do like the design of the Federal ships. I especially like the fins, and these ones have fins that look very similar to the existing space shuttles. So that is going to be very interesting. Maybe I'll even paint them white, but we'll see. We were also hinted as well at Gamescom that the new Federal ships, if you have a look at the back of their design, they have a new kind of little hatch area. Well, it's not exactly a little hatch area. It looks at least 10 times the size of the cargo hatch. And it was hinted that this might have a different role in the game. And maybe it will be something completely new. They're kind of being very tight-lipped about it, and I'm very curious to see what it's going to be. I'm hoping that this is actually going to be the ship docking mechanics. And since they're actually making the Condor playable, perhaps that's actually what this is going to be. Further down the line, perhaps we are going to be able to actually dock small fighter craft in our own ships. So that's going to be amazing that maybe we're actually going to be able to have multi-crewed ships at some point. Maybe even having our own AI controlled fighters, or maybe even being controlled by other players, which would be absolutely amazing. I would love to have this. But it's probably going to be a fair way off, but I can dream. But anyway, that's pretty much on everything on the ships that we're going to be having released into the game in 1.4. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much my rundown of all the ships that are going to be introduced into 1.4, the CQC update. What do you think of these ships? Are you looking forward to getting your hands on them? If so, which ones? Personally, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the new Federal ships, because they've been long overdue. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If do, please do hit that like button. It really does help my channel out. And if you haven't already, come and join the Wolf Pack by hitting that big subscribe button. You'll get notifications from whenever I release new videos. And until next time, Commanders, keep flying and stay shiny.